Mischief, Paris to Find magazine. It's not an attractive street, but we're in Paris and we're gonna go for a bike ride to the Eiffel Tower. So let's do it. Right now we're in my neighborhood. Just got a strap on. Canal St neighborhood. And our destination is that tall metal thing that lights up. So stabilization is set so you don't suffer from these cobblestones, hopefully. And let's just double check that we are live. I think we are. It looked live on my phone. Okay. Oh, I forgot to tell people to log in, you know, like asking friends, asking for a friend. So let's do that. How many things do I have in my phone? All right, giddy up. Let's do this. Sorry, it's a very anticlimactic start, but I'm just making sure that everything's working. Am I at least live on Twitch? Well, we're going to try to catch the sunset. Oh, and somebody remind me to swap this bike out because if I go over 30 minutes, I have to pay extra. This is my goal, to not pay extra. So we're at this little kind of micro neighborhood called Place Saint-Martin. What's wrong with my internet? The hell? Sorry. This is temporarily full. Saved. Oh, sorry. I'm just like, when it comes to tech, I am not with it. These are also, you know, we're just getting started, so pretty soon things are going to be smooth, like butter. So I think I'm not allowed to have too many connected devices, right? Okay, I think I know what the situation was. Configuration. Sorry, world's boringest stream. All right, giddy up. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Oh, I have to turn off the volume. I want to hear myself on reverb. No bueno, puppy. There has to be a better way to do this. Somebody's gonna chime in, because every time I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. One of my loyal viewers, and that's either Floxed or Weebs, will come in and say, hey, do this or don't do this, or like, don't hit anybody with your bike, which is always a good piece of advice. So the plan is to earn my tacos by riding to the Eiffel Tower, sing a little sparkle sparkle. Then I'm going to treat myself with not French food. I love French food, but like everyone everywhere, what do we eat for real in Paris? We eat Asian food, we eat tacos, we eat burgers. Like, we have a ton of these delivery services in Paris. I started using delivery services because I'm a little bit phobic about grocery stores. It's hard to explain, but it's just weird. So I can see everybody's chat. So if you have any questions about what we're seeing, I'm a huge nerd and I'd love to tell you what we see. So right now we're weaving through my neighborhood, the Canal St. Martin neighborhood. We're going to go along, well, let's see, we're going to go towards the Gare de l'Est train station, the train station that takes you to Germany. So if you want to follow along on the map, you can look up the Canal St. Martin, and hopefully my windscreen is doing a good job today for cutting, because it's super windy the past couple days. And you can take a look at the Gare de l'Est, Gardel', Gare de l'Est. That's our, we're about to pass that in a minute or two. On our way to the tall metal thing that lights up. Oh my God. There are these reflective things on the ground, and I was just wobbling and almost getting knocked off my bike because of them. So here it is, the canal. Originally, it's a man-made canal that was commissioned by Napoleon Bonaparte, or as he was born, Napoleone Bonaparte, because you know he was more Italian when he was born than actually French. It's true. The most famous Frenchman of all times, well, except Daft Punk, I guess, was not French. He was Corsican, which, I mean, if you ask them today if they're French or not, they're going to say no. They're going to say, I am Corsican. And they have their own dialect there. It's an island south of France, just above Sardinia. So it used to belong to the Kingdom of Genova. It was Italian, pre-unification Italy. And when Napoleon was born, not long after, it was, in my understanding of the history, if I remember correctly, temporarily put in the care of France. And so all the people became French subjects, although it was before the revolution, so yes, they were subject of the French crown, monarchy. You know, Napoleon actually was one of the defenders, was one of the defenders of the monarchy of Louis the Marie Antoinette. Obviously, that was one battle he wasn't fighting so well in, because they lost it big time. Big time. So it's kind of funny that they went from being like, oh, we don't want a monarchy, that's too intense, let's do some democracy, and then they're like, nah, an emperor is fine for a while, let's just have an emperor, why not? So here we are at Gare de l'Est, train station that will take you to the east. Not all of the other train stations are named after their direction, but this is the train station that will take you to the east of France first, and then to Germany, etc. You know, the east. The other train stations are not called like Gare du Sud, well, there's Gare du Nord, so there's Gare du Nord, Gare de l'Est. Those are the only two that have directions. The train station to take you to the south is Gare de Lyon. There's Gare d'Austerlitz. But yeah, it's from this Gustave Eiffel era of ironwork. There's a really sick bar on top in the summer, not during the winter because it's too cold. It's from the Perchoir family of restaurants and bars, and it's on top of the train station. Actually, if you look at our list for Paris to Find magazine, which is what this is all about, we have a list of hidden bars and speakeasies, and that one is kind of hidden. You can see the, what do you call it, the palm trees up there is where the bar will be when they open. It should be opening soon because it's April. To the left, we have some restaurants. There's a new Bouillon Chartier. A bouillon is a cheap restaurant originally for the working classes with nice decor. So you have really classic French dishes. You can get escargot, you can get usually beef bourguignon, really classic things. Very, very cheap, like insanely, almost unbelievably cheap prices. It's really the last place to eat like very cheaply in Paris because everything already was expensive in Paris before all the inflation. And the inflation here hasn't been that bad compared to some places. You know, Turkey had like, what, 80% inflation or something. Here it was a few percentage points and we still protested. So the government had to take a lot of action about that. This is a pretty church. I can't remember what it's called. I never go there. It's funny because we have so many pretty churches in Paris that are not the Notre Dame, but the one, Notre Dame is the one that everybody pays attention to. As you can see, riding bikes in Paris is like a big thing where it's almost like Amsterdam thanks to Anne Hidalgo, the first female mayor of Paris. She put bike lanes everywhere. In general, I mean, it started with the mayor, according to Parisians, who are like, no, it was not only Anne Hidalgo. She started, the mayor before her, I forget his name, he started putting a lot of bike lanes in the city and setting up all the planning for it. And so he was kind of like the first hardcore eco-friendly mayor. And we're going to ride later possibly on the Berge du Seine, which is the waterfront. It used to be, well, now it's for bikes and pedestrians only, but it used to be, back in the day, a highway. Like each side of the river was a highway in one direction, and you know, like a 3-lane highway. And so they closed that down, and you're gonna see now it's really fun. In the summer, especially when the weather is good, it's jam-packed. People are having picnics. Because it's so expensive to go out in Paris, it's so much cheaper to get a bottle of wine, a little packet of charcuterie from the grocery store, and meet your friends at the Berge and get a picnic going, rather than pay for like 15-euro cocktails at the bars. It's going out's expensive here. Living is expensive here. What are you gonna do? City of Light. Some kind of show at this theater. Everybody's lining up to get into the show. What is it? I don't know. I don't even know that theater. The Brady. It's the name of a passage over here. A passage. Okay, let's go. So the bike lane that we're on is a little bit quiet right now, but between 5 and I would say 7, it's shoulder to shoulder. They said, who's they? I don't know. I read recently that it was the world's busiest bike lane. It's hard to believe because of course Amsterdam just has so many more people on bikes, but not necessarily all in one place. So we're corralled a little bit more to our bike lanes, whereas like the whole city is bike lanes in Amsterdam, so kind of makes sense. We're in the kind of Saint-Denis Petit Écurie neighborhood, the 10th arrondissement, close to the metro station Strasbourg-Saint-Denis. Kind of dodgy area at night and during the day. You can see we came through here with the protest. You could watch under live some of our videos from about a week and a half ago. We literally walked down that street right there. That's where all the action was, where I got tear gassed. And tomorrow is another manif. Oh, I have to put it in the schedule to let the internet know that we are coming. So if you guys are enjoying this, be sure to smash the subscribe button. Slap it, punch it, slap it up, flip it, rub it down. Subscribe. You could also hit up our Patreon and give us money because we like nice things. You could subscribe to our newsletter on Substack, the king of all newsletter delivery systems. So So you could read our newsletters on there, but our newsletters are pretty much about what's going on in a fixed period of time. So there's not much use right now in going in our back catalog unless you just want to read how clever we are, or my political posturing, because I was writing about the protests. So I'm going to send the new edition out tonight when I get home. I was supposed to send it today, but I didn't. So we're in the second arrondissement now, I think we are. And we're on Boulevard de Sébastopol and Rue Réaumur. And this is one of my favorite buildings. I'm going to try to, unfortunately we can't go tight with the GoPro, it's a wide shot. But this is one of my favorite buildings in Paris up here. You see how busy this is? And this is not even full steam. So yeah, I love this building. Oh, I just heard somebody speaking Italian. Pretty soon, usually around May, it becomes English season. And all of a sudden, everybody on the street is speaking Anglais. So not yet, but soon. I have an e-bike. And I'm riding an e-bike right now, which is why I'm not completely out of breath. I have my own regular bike for, you know, fitness reasons and other reasons, but I love the freedom of the e-bikes because if I don't feel like riding back and I just want to take the metro instead or something, I can do that. And for the streams, it's really nice because, oh shit, it's really nice because I am not out of breath. So I'm not like, and on your left, you know, totally out of breath. So looks like we lost the light. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Sacre Frenchy restaurant. So if anybody wants to chat, hit me up in the chat. I will respond to you, but I don't have French accent, so I am sorry. I was trying to use this thing that unifies all my chats in one place, and I haven't really tested it out yet. I'm sort of a noob with tech, but I have this thing that's supposed to unify. Oh, there it is. Okay, new comments will display here. Okay, let's see, it might work. So yeah, drop me a line if you have a question about what you're seeing. I'm happy to geek out with you. And we're going to go to La Tour Eiffel, the Iron Lady. We're gonna hang out there, see what it does. We're heading into the direction of the sunset. Paris is beautiful, is it not? Sacre bleu. Some people wonder like why the water is running in the gutter like that. That's because the street sweeping crew is coming through. So they turn the water on and they sweep down the sidewalks with water and with brooms. Oh, sorry. This is like the ADHD tour. So the back of this church was cut off to make way for the boulevard we're on right now. So we just drove through what would have been the transept of that church. And that church has, you know, Catholic churches have some really freaky relics, like body parts. That kind of always gets me. That church, I'll look up the name. What is it? St. Stephen or something? Saint Stephen? I don't know. It has the, how do you say? Not thorax. I do this every time. A thorax is an animal part, but you know the thoracic part, let's say the midsection of the mother of Alexander the Great. Okay, pretty weird thing to keep. So we're now in the Leal neighborhood, so you can see like lots of action, lots of restaurants, big shopping mall. There's a lot of really mediocre restaurants here. There's a KFC, in case you came all the way. You know, there's a Paris fried chicken. It's really funny. It's not too far from my house and it says PFC, Paris fried chicken. So yeah, this neighborhood is, we're close to the Beaubourg, the Centre Pompidou Museum. So it's pretty touristy. But also Parisians go here because they go to the big shopping mall. It's really weird. It feels American to me. So there's the back of the Beaubourg, the Centre Pompidou. And here we are. So you will see a lot of people on these little scooters, which on Sunday, Parisians voted to ban. 90% of the vote. it was a very small turnout, so people who were very passionate against the scooters. They turned out to vote 90% against them. So I just looked up when exactly they're getting removed from the street, and the contract won't be renewed after August. So technically September 1, basta. No more scooters unless they're privately owned. But I suspect what's going to happen is that they'll stop replacing and maintaining them, so they'll probably disappear sooner, because all this kind of equipment gets really beat up in Paris. Parisians are really wild with that kind of stuff. My French friend said to me, we are too Latin for this. If we take these things, not me personally, but people throw them into the river. And so every month they have a boat that goes by and scoops out all the bikes and scooters from the river. Oh, you know what? Let's cut through the Louvre. So we're going to go straight ahead. We're on Rue de Rivoli. And we're going to go straight ahead, and then we'll cut through the Louvre and get to the water and head towards the sunset. So yeah, Châtelet-Léal, lots of nightlife and jazz bars, late night restaurants. This is not Spain, so we do not eat late here in Paris. I don't know how well you guys can hear me over the moto on my right, but I'll keep talking. Oh, hello lovely riskiness. Welcome to the stream. I am Catwalk, editor and mischief. Yes, we have a McDonald's here in Paris. So guys, you can read us on Paris Defined magazine. Right now it's just online. I don't have the courage to undertake a printing project because just getting the website ready was like way more intense than I thought. So it lives on www, which is short for World Wide Web, .parisdefined.com. Oh, I just saw we'll go there another day. I saw something cool, but we'll go there another day. That's the thing with Paris. There are too many cool things to see. So if you stop for everything, you'll miss the sunset. This is Samaritain, the new old store, one of our Grand Magasins, big, large shopping, kind of, how would you say, department store. That's the word for it. Sometimes I can't speak English. Am I like Alec Baldwin's wife? That's like, what is the word for cucumber? Except I have that. I just think I have like degradation of my faculties. Or like, Madonna, when she moved to, people remember Madonna moved to London and then started kind of rocking a British accent. So I guess you can accuse me of that. But really, I just forget. It's like the more French I learn, the more English I forget. There's just not that much space in my head. A Protestant church that survived the War of the Religions. I don't remember the names of churches. I'm sorry, church fans. I'm gonna do a stream one day of the underrated churches of Paris, because there are lots of really cool ones that don't get any love, because everybody thinks about the Notre Dame, the Sacré-Cœur. I mean, they're both really cool, but you can't go in the Notre Dame right now anyway because there's a fire. It's being restored. Sacré-Cœur, of course, is really cool. Very different architecture. Saint-Chapelle, I would say, is up there, but we also have Saint-Eustache. Not so much trash on the streets. Yeah, true. It's they started, this area wasn't really affected by the trash strike, but my neighborhood wasn't affected. But my neighborhood looks trashy all the time anyway, because people there just don't care and they throw trash on the ground, which is highly annoying for somebody like me that I'm picky about. Well, you're riding in the bike lane, you don't want trash in the bike lane. It creates a sense of general disarray. But yeah, it was mostly the posh parts of town, and that wasn't by design. It's just because there are different entities that pick up the trash in Paris, and the one in my neighborhood is a private entity that it's been contracted out to. So they didn't strike because they weren't part of this public strike. So we have the green here, but you wouldn't know it by everybody's behavior. So we're going to go Rue Barré. Okay. A little bit of Parisian driving. It's not as bad as Rome. So here we are at the Louvre. La 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 Louvre. Et voilà. Bad for me because I'm on the cobblestones. But see what I sacrifice. Oh, see what I sacrifice for you people. You see, the least you can do is subscribe to our newsletter. It's free. You can subscribe to our channel on YouTube. That's also free. But you can be a dear and also subscribe to our paid tier. Oh God, you see what I mean? You can subscribe to our paid tier of our newsletter on Substack or our Patreon. You can become a patron of us crazy kids doing Paris stuff. Oh my God, really getting me. So, the Musée du Louvre, everyone. Voila. We're crossing. Right now we're on the right bank and we're going to cross over to the left bank. Oh, that's cute. Lovers. Or brother and sister. I don't know. Maybe just a really close brother and sister. Who am I to judge? So here we are, the right bank of the River Seine at the Musée du Louvre, if you want to look on your map. And if you want to know where to go in Paris, you could read Paris to Find, our magazine that we have lovingly put together over the past couple of years using our collective knowledge of Parising. We're crossing the River Seine right now. And we have brutally hacked away at all the inferior, boring, stupid things to do in Paris and left you only the choice cuts so you can figure out which restaurant to go to that is like a Parisian dream, if that's your thing. That would be the Promised Land, I think is the name of that category. Restaurants that are kind of like your dream Paris. Actually, are we passing La Pérouse? It's a very old restaurant that used to be frequented by courtesans and the men who supported them, the noble classes, hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And the mirrors there, they have a lot of original decor. And the mirrors there have a lot of scratches in them because the women would test if a diamond was real by scratching it on the mirror. So they wanted to make sure if Francois was trying to give them some ice, it was the right ice. And Kate Moss actually carved into one of the mirrors, like in the 90s or something, "It's too late to go to bed," or something like that. So basically all the notables have been there. It's up here somewhere. Or did we pass it already? I don't know. Where are we? So these are the bouquinistes. They sell vintage newspapers, prints, books, magazines, etc. The bouquinistes are actually a UNESCO part of World Heritage. And they are not permitted to sell touristy schlock, you know, so no silly aprons with like the Mona Lisa on it or whatever. Only one out of every 4 of the bouquinistes, basically these little boxes that rest on the wall of the Seine. Only 1 out of every 4 can sell touristy stuff. The rest have to sell cultural artifacts, magazines, books, and things like that, paintings, works of art. Here's the Musée d'Orsay on my left. It used to be a train station. That's why it's so long and train stationy. The problem with eating after the stream and not before, because I'm like a child, I'm hungry at 6 o'clock. The problem with being like, oh, I'm gonna stream and then I'll go eat after, is then I get really preoccupied. And tonight I got preoccupied with tacos, so it's going to be rough on me. Easy for you. So look, these people don't give a shit. They are the illegal pedicab drivers of Paris. Stay away from them because they will rip you off. You'll get in and they'll show you a card, a rate card. And you'll say, oh, how much? And they'll say, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to the Notre Dame. They say, okay, 25. And you say, okay, 25, a little expensive, but fine. Let's say there's 4 people with you. And they say 25 per person. And you're like, whoa, that's expensive. You're like, oh, but okay, I'm really tired. I've been out all day, I'm exhausted. We want to get to see this other thing because we're leaving our flights at 6 in the morning or whatever. So you get in, and then when you get there, they're like 300 euros. You're like, what? It's because they want to charge you 20 to 25 euros per monument that you passed. Not going from one monument to the other like they presented it as when you were getting in. They want it per monument you passed. So on the way, of course, you pass 7 monuments. You pass the Louvre, you pass the Place de la Concorde, you pass the Grand Palais. That's what that roof line is up there. You pass probably 5 to 7 things on the way. And they want to charge you 20 to 25 euros per person per monument that you pass. So you arrive and they try to squeeze 300 bucks out of you. And the thing is, they're totally illegal, unlicensed pedicabs, so you could just walk away. You can say, I'm calling the police on you, which is the last thing they want because they don't want anybody to call the cops on them because they don't have a license to do that. And it's a scam. So I see people, we'll see people later for sure, getting in, and I was going to be like, no, don't do it. But sometimes you'll see people at the end of their journey when they're getting out and they're all arguing with the guy. So those are usually, not all of them, some of them are legal, by the way, so I'm not smearing all of them. But some of them are legal, but I can't, it's hard for me to show you which ones are legal and which ones are just illegal, so I don't. Into the sunset. Pretty nice. I'm going to take some pictures tonight for the newsletter. So I take some pictures of pretty Paris. Let's stop here and take a picture. This looks nice. I try to show what's going on when you're out and about and what you can see. And with it being a pretty nice night in terms of weather, you have a lot of people out. See if I can get a good picture here. Not bad. So I do my little postcards from Paris. So we still live? Are we looking good? How's it going? Just gonna check on my... Okay, so that looks like YouTube is working. Good. All right. And there it is, the tall metal thing that will light up pretty soon. By the time we get there, it'll be just in time to light up. Maybe I have time before the big pizzazz moment to switch to my phone, because with the GoPro, I'm using the GoPro 10, Hero 10, you can't zoom in, so you're stuck with a wide shot. So way off in the distance, it's really close for me, but for you it's gonna look way off in the distance, is the Tomb of Napoleon. It's called Invalides, right there, the gold dome. And this is the Alexander III Bridge, here with the gold statues. And that's the Grand Palais, which is closed right now for renovation. tomorrow there's going to be a big protest. You've probably heard about it. We're going to go and stream from the protest. And I think what I'm going to do, ooh, that's a nice shot. I think what I'm going to do is, besides marching in the actual march, I think I'm going to sit down at a cafe and do a kind of like people watching stream. Maybe have a glass of wine.
Skiing was expensive.
I think that's what I'm going to do for a little while, and then I'll join the march. I have a better mask this time for filtration. It's not a real gas mask, but it's a better particulate mask, and the tear gas is actually not a gas at all. It's powder. So the N95 mask last time, when we got pretty directly like quote unquote gassed, it worked pretty well. Not bad at all, actually. And I had my helmet on, which blocked some of the direct hit. So I felt pretty confident, actually. And it's not dangerous to bike in Paris traffic. I actually learned how to bike before there were all the bike lanes here. And I thought it was like kind of crazy when I first started, and I was a little bit afraid, but once you know the traffic patterns, it's fine. And then of course, since COVID, they did what were called the Corona piste, literally Corona lanes. They turned a whole lane of traffic into a bike lane. So like this used to be just another lane of car traffic, and now it's a protected bike lane. Whereas before you would have been mixed in with the cars and they would have called it a bike lane. Oh, look at this, they're all scooting together. You would have been mixed in with one lane of cars, so not so great. Now you have your own lane. It's super chill. That new building, is it the Embassy of Brazil? No, South Africa. It's very modernist, very 1970s, not very Paris. Like, this is the American church. You can't see because we're starting to get actual green foliage on the trees. These pedicabs might be legal because they look kind of like a real legal, and they don't look like they're in the pickpocket gang. So yeah, those might be the real legit ones that you can take, and they have a kind of fixed price or a price by the minute, and it's fine. Like, but it's so hard to tell the difference because the fake ones try really hard to look like the real ones. For some reason, it's just not a priority of the police to do that, to deal with it. And I'm not sure why, because it really upsets a lot of people. I do tours and I meet a lot of people who have been ripped off in those things. They're like, yeah, he wanted to charge me 300 euros to go from the Eiffel Tower to the Notre Dame. And I'm like, yeah. So here is the Russian church. It's one of the newer churches in Paris. And they always have, like, since the genocide in Ukraine by the Russian army started, they always have a police car out there. It's now just a police car. For a while it was like a legit kind of serious van. I used to make a joke about it, like how one time Vladimir Putin made me late because I was going to an appointment and I needed to get through here. But everything was blocked off and all the bridges were blocked off because I think it was like the G7 in town, and Vladimir Putin decided at the last minute to go to the Russian church. So the police had to activate all these helicopters and they had to close all these roads. Why, homie? What did I ever do to you? So everything was blocked and I couldn't get across, and Vladimir Putin made me late because I thought it was a terrorist attack and I was kind of freaking out. So I said to one of the police, I'm like, what's going on? Like, something happened? And he's like, no, Vladimir Putin. I was like, oh, okay, well. And who could have foreseen the future? That was like 2017. Who could have known what was, you know, Putler? It was so funny before, but now I just don't even feel like it's funny to joke about Vladimir Putin anymore. Birds are chirping, sounds like spring. Not sure if you can pick it up. I'm gonna do that sometimes. I'm just gonna play music on the bike and rock out. It looks fun. I got a ticket for being on my phone on the bike, and I'm such a stickler about that kind of thing. I pretty much never do it, and I swear to God I did it once, and there was a police checkpoint where they were checking the bike lane looking for that, and the guy saw me and he just went like, come on over, and I'm like, oh man, you know. It was like 125 euros. It would have been 90 if I paid it on time, but I didn't pay it on time, so I had to pay the late fee. So voila, what is this? Some French flag action happening over here. This used to be lit up, it wasn't colored. And La Tour Eiffel. So what time is it? Oh yeah, we have time before it lights up. So what we can do is, since it's light enough out, is I will take you to the secret bunker underneath the Champs-Elysees, which is the space of, you know, greenery, kind of a park, right in front of the Iron Lady. And this here is Instagram Alley. You'll see all these guys out with these little trucks fixing the ads, because the billboards, hello, I speak English, because with the protests they all got smashed up, so they're going around to see which ones are working and which ones have been smashed up so that they can replace the glass. It's just what we do when we have a protest, is we smash those up. So yeah, here's Instagram Alley. You've probably seen this picture. This is where people get it. We're going to go park this bike. Oh, let's park this bike here. It's not too crowded. It's crowded, but what's too crowded? Okay, we'll go to the next one. This is too crowded. I'm trying to be a good bike citizen so the bikes don't get banned. Here's the station, but it's also quite full. What about this one? There's a bike station. It's a bike station, right? We'll find out in a minute. I think they should ban pigeons. Okay. Oh, you know what? I probably forgot to stop the bike at 30 minutes. So let's find out how much I just paid for my bike by forgetting. Let's find out. Oh yeah, 47 minutes. I need to set a timer. I paid $4.27, you guys, for that ride. No bueno. I need to get better. The problem with these attachments for the phone is I think you can forget the phone on there. I think I'm gonna paint it a crazy color so I don't walk away from it. Because there's me and there's Cam. Cam is my comrade. Camrad. He has one of these too. So if I get disconnected, by the way, I'll be right back. Don't worry, I will be streaming for several hours. So if we get disconnected, it's just a connection. It's just the network by the Eiffel Tower might be a little bit, sometimes it gets a little twitchy because of so many people being on it. But no worries. Take my helmet off. I could almost eat street meat. After I saw what the guys selling champagne do over here, I pretty much decided never to eat this illegal on the fly street food over here by the Eiffel Tower, but Today I'm kind of desperate. Usually Flox slides into the DMs and tells me what he's eating while we're streaming and it's dinner time, and then I'm like, oh, Spätzle. Anybody want to drink the Eiffel Tower? They put them, bonjour. They put them on these kind of tablecloths with strings. No, merci. To pick them up really quick and run, because you can't sell stuff on the street. It's illegal. And every now and then the police will come by just to rustle up these guys and take away their stuff. So that's why they're all on a tablecloth type of thing, or a picnic blanket, and they just go zip them up with those cords, and then they run. So if you hear jing 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 jingle, all of a sudden it's because the police are coming. So yeah, I'm not saying that they all do it, but the guys selling beer and wine by the bottle out of buckets here, I saw them once storing it in like one of these kind of, well, this is for the telecom, but like in a sewer grate. They lifted up the metal sewer grate, and in there was a, no, merci beaucoup. And in there was, you know, like in this literal sewer was a bunch of their stock. So they sell a few bottles and they go and they re-top up at the, or I saw them also in the trash bin. So I was like, oh, gross. So today there's no line. So I'm thinking, oh no, I said I would take you to the bunker. Let's go to the bunker first, because you can't see it in the dark. Today I actually got here with enough light so that we could see it, because the other day we came here and it was too dark, so it was kind of a waste. So what we'll do is, since there's not a huge line, or at least not now, we'll go inside, and then I can sit in this really nice spot to watch it. To watch the Eiffel Tower do its thing. Romantic. Okay. So, checking my pockets here to make sure everything's snapped closed. So the lights are going to go on in a few minutes. So you can hear all languages being spoken. I just heard Spanish. I'd like to listen in and see what I can hear. In the off season, you know, like the winter, not the high season, which would be, I don't know, April, May to November, you'll hear a lot of Europeans, Dutch, Germans, Spanish, Russians, not as many Americans, Aussies, Canadians, Brits, more Brits in the winter, so you'll hear British accents. So yeah, everybody's out. That's why this just kind of looks like it's completely overrun. I saw some sort of description somewhere that said the lush gardens surrounding the Eiffel Tower, and I just thought, shame on you. Shame on you for telling people that. Someone used to do a yoga class right here, but I haven't seen it in a while. It looks cool. I guess if you're from out of town, it would be really cool to do yoga right here. But there's so many rats here because it's just constant picnics and people throw trash, and I mean, this is what it looks like on the ground. So it's just like the least zen place ever, and really quite dirty. Just, we have a lot of festivals here in the summer, so it'll be super crowded, and then the grass is all destroyed. Like this grass basically never gets a chance to, it doesn't stand a chance, it never grows back. But this one they blocked with this one with a fence, so that it's called the winter rest, le repos hivernal. So it actually grows back, and then in about a month we tear away these fences and destroy this grass too, by having constant picnics on it. Oh, you guys, check it out. There's a little tiny, a wee fake Eiffel Tower. Some people thought it was an April Fool's joke. Turns out that's not it. We're going to take a picture of this for the newsletter, for my Postcards from Paris series by Kat Walker, editor in mischief of self-promotion. So people taking pictures. Oh, romance. There is romance in the air. Okay, wait, I'm gonna just... Beer, wine, beer. sorry for bad camera work there. Okay, look, underneath the mini Eiffel Tower, which is the Eiffel là. Postez vos photos avec Eiffel là. It's the Eiffel là. You can post your photos with the Eiffel là, but I mean, you're at the real one. A lot of people are finding this a bit mysterious. So it's called the Eiffel là. I was born on the 1st of April 2023 at 5:30. Oh, I get it. They have baby crying noises, and the idea is that it was just born. It weighs 23 tons and is 32 meters high. It's the baby of the Eiffel. Okay, that baby crying freaked me out, not gonna lie. That's pretty funny. Do you hear it? It's coming from in here, and I thought, what the hell? Like people are all confused. It's a fake Eiffel Tower. Okay. So they're saying it's the baby of the real one. Let's try to get a clever shot. Let's try to pretend to be an artiste. Too bad camera boyfriend's not here. He could have some fun with that. Too bad camera boyfriend's not here. Yeah, the baby Eiffel Tower. Here it is, lovely riskiness. It is here, as you can see. I'm going to turn down the volume so I do not. So there's the baby. Yeah, I was a little mystified, and I read some articles about it because I was like, well, what's the point of that? And it was just a kind of April Fool's joke. It's not going to be here forever. It's very temporary. Can't remember how temporary. So let's go to the secret bunker entrance. And I have time, so what we'll do is switch to my iPhone so that I can perhaps zoom in. I have a fancy gimbal and I'm ready to deploy it. Let me steal it. Potato chips. I'm gonna steal your potato chips. So, World War I, they said, ew, Germany's not so cool, no bueno. So they dug a bunker under here, under the Champs-Elysees. It's this greenery that spans like from in front of the Eiffel Tower all the way over there, which looks like it's far away, but it's not. I would say it's about the equivalent to 3 blocks, as Americans would use terminology. Normally you would see the École Militaire there, but it's blocked by the temporary Grand Palais, because while the Grand Palais is under construction, we have a temporary one. And then that tower, the skyscraper there, is pretty much one of the only skyscrapers in Paris, because we don't really have skyscrapers. The Montparnasse Tower, aka the Awful Tower. The Awful Tower. I think they're speaking Arabic. So far we had Spanish, Italian, Arabic, counting languages. Yeah, nobody likes the Montparnasse Tower. Poor Montparnasse. Nobody likes you. You are ugly. It's actually why we don't have skyscrapers in Paris, because they built that. They started in 1969, and then people were so outraged that they said no more. No. So the tallest things in Paris are the Tour Eiffel, the ugly Montparnasse, and the Sacré-Cœur. The Sacré-Cœur, the Church of the Sacred Heart, the Basilica actually of the Sacred Heart, is tall because it's on a hill, so it got a little boost. The Eiffel Tower and the Montparnasse Tower are just objectively tall. So see, everybody's forced to chillax here on the grass, because the real grass, the lush, delicious grass behind the gates is unavailable. But that's where we have picnics and parties in the summer. And now everybody's stuck on this raggedy grass. And it's bright enough for us to see the secret hidden entrance to that bunker that's underneath the Champs de Mars. So I started talking about the Germans, World War I. The French were like, ooh, let's build a bunker under the Champs de Mars. The Eiffel Tower was a really important communications tower. That's why they didn't tear it down after its initial 20-year run. Look at this. Dring, dring. I guess that is how you say ring, ring in French. That's cute. So you need your badge to get in. And there's the stair down there. You guys see it okay? I used to be able to go down there a couple of years ago. They only let a few people have the permission every year. And that was like, what, 2018 maybe that I had it? But I can't tell who has the permission now. I looked online to try to see if we can go in there. It's somebody that I know, but alas, I can't figure it out. I think it's just very anticlimactic, so people don't really bother because you have to pay. So the company I was working for paid for us to have the permission to do it. So you have to pay, and it's not really worth it because it's a bunker. It's just a concrete room. You know what? I'm going to link because you're not supposed to do photography or video down there. You're not allowed. You could get your permission revoked. But somebody went in and they put a camera in their bag and like made a little hole in their bag, like a pinhole. Pretty clever. And they got a video down there. But like I said, it's a concrete room. There are also, how do you call them? There are kitchens for the 2 restaurants down there as well. But you can't go in the kitchens, obviously, for sanitation reasons. So, like I said, what's the point? Let's sit here and try to see if we can log on. I'm gonna set up my gimbal and try to find like a not too raggedy spot to sit on. I don't know what's worse for my light jeans, the grass or the dust. Let's find out. So, it's a pretty decent view, right? So if I get my phone camera going, then I can get an actually better angle. So let's see if it's just a dream. Will we keep the dream? No, I don't want to sit on the ground. I didn't bring anything to sit on. That was pretty dumb. Nothing to sit on but my batteries. Look, I could sit on my pack of batteries. There we go. Like I said, what's worse, the grass or... Okay, good enough. I shouldn't have worn light clothes. I'm not a good planner. So, there we go. Et voila, the first lighting. So that's the first lighting, but there's more to it, trust me. It's really amazing. Yeah, the baby noise is crazy. It freaked me out. What's great, it's not as crowded as it was the other day. The other day was crazy crowded. So we have 20 minutes to see if I can set up my camera. So what I'll do is I'll switch from, oh, where's the little thingy? Oh, there it is, okay. So let's see if I remember this correctly. I'll do all my setup before I log off and then on. So if I'll let you know, I'll warn you. My trusty safety anti-theft device. I once was with a family and we stopped here to take pictures. I was taking them around Paris, and they all had different phones, and they were taking turns with different phones, and they put their one of the teenagers put their phone down on the grass, and then we left. And we get back to the office, and they're like, oh, our phone. And I was like, I said, okay, let me go back and try to see if I can find it, because it's faster for me to go by myself. Because if I go with you, I'll have to follow, be more careful with traffic. So I'm like, I'll just go by myself and see if I can find it. I came back to the Champs-Elysees, and I kid you not, the phone was just sitting on the grass. It was a brand new iPhone. This is like 2018. It was a brand new iPhone, and nobody touched it. It was just untouched. It's probably things that never happened ever again. Okay, so. Can't remember how to use this. Okay, it's on, but now what?
I already have like such good impressions about which one I'm going against. I'm like, how better can it be? But it's gonna get better.
No, that's not it. Put my phone in here, right? The extra phone? Okay. Like I said, double press to go to landscape mode. Double press what? Camera people.
We did it with the last.
Oh, there we go. It's trying. It's trying.
So we don't have to ride the taxi.
Ah, there we go. Et voila. Thank you, camera boyfriend, who texted me with the correct answer of how to fix that. There's only 3 buttons. You think I'd be able to figure it out? Okay. Attach the tripod. Okay. So far, so good. So here's what we're gonna do, guys. I'm going to sign off from the GoPro, and I'm going to log on with my phone. If it doesn't work and it takes me more than 2 or 3 minutes, I'm going to just come back on with the GoPro. So I will see you guys in a few minutes, okay? Wait, I'm just gonna put this back in normal mode. Did I beat this one up already? I've barely used it. I think I've mistreated my equipment.